How's it going, guys? Hope you're having a great day. And in today's video, we're going to talk about should you cut or should you bulk? And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like or subscribe button. It'd really help out the channel. And so just to jump right into it, it all depends on where you're at currently and also where you've been. So if you're new to training, then you might be able to get away with both. You might get the gold standard, if you will, is that you haven't had the stimulus in the past, which is going to elicit a huge and pretty quick dramatic result of muscle growth, and subsequently most, if not all, of your extra calories, if you are taking them in, which you should if you're new to it, should be going towards the muscle building process. So you really aren't going to put on hardly any body fat, and if you do, it's going to be very minimal. Now, that period will last roughly 3 months or more, depending on how you do. I started off going into my freshman year in high school at 155 pounds my 8th grade year for football, and I weighed in at 185 for my freshman year in football. I was eating a ton of calories, working out like a crazy person, and it was good. It came on fast, and that was about it. I had about 3 months. I really did it over about the summer, maybe 4 months or so, give or take. And I started off at 95 pounds on bench press, was pretty much crushing me. And by the time I started football season, I was knocking out 135, 150 for reps. I think I actually maxed out at like a 185 later on in the football season. So it was pretty dramatic. Pretty much doubled everything from a strength standpoint. You could say that for legs as well. Now, what is a little bit more tricky is if you've been around the block for a while. If you have, then you kind of have to choose. Still kind of, if you're in that like 1 to maybe 2 year time span, you can kind of get away with doing both. You should probably go a little bit more slow with it. You can't be as aggressive with the calories. And again, it depends on where you're at. So depending on where you're at, right? If you're at a higher body fat percentage and a lower amount of muscle mass, then you should prioritize more so of a calorie deficit and more, not necessarily high repetitions, but you want to keep a pretty quick pace. So, if you're trying to put on strength, maybe you take 2 minutes of rest in between things, you might want to cut it down to closer to a minute or so. One of the best things, what I love to do, is go from essentially a heavy weight right into something lighter. So pretty much everything's like a drop set. That's one technique. You can do, like a strength training in the morning. You can do more of a circuit training in the evening, or vice versa. And that will help to both maintain, if not put on muscle and strength, while having that negative influence on your overall calorie balance. So at the end of the day, that's really what is going to be the overriding factor, or the main factor. And there are other components such as your protein intake and the type of training, how long you're training, your nutrition overall. There's a lot of factors to go into it, but from a bulk standpoint, that's what it's going to be. Now, if you're somebody who is a little bit leaner and you have a moderate amount of muscle and you want to essentially lean bulk, just kind of keep doing what you're doing, slowly increase those calories, maybe 100 to 200 a day. It depends, and I go into this more in depth on my website of exactly how you want to put this together. It's just beyond the scope of the video. We could talk about that for 30 minutes or so, let alone this whole video. This whole video is probably 3-4 hours, so I'm not going to jump in as when I can kind of give you the cliff notes. And so if you're at that point, then just kind of keep doing what you're doing, slowly increase those calories 1 to 200 per week, and then once you've done that first week or two, then maybe taper off to more like 25 to 50, depending on how your body responds. Take your progress pictures, see what you look like from week to week. That's really going to be the really overall standpoint that you can really get a good perspective on it. You can take it day to day just to kind of see how different foods, different amounts of water, sodium, training at different times of the day, lack of sleep, a lot of sleep, just seeing how that appears from a visual standpoint. If you're like, hey, I want to do fitness modeling, I want to look great on this day, or I want to go to the beach on this day, or I just want to kind of feel good, and I also notice that on these days I look good and I feel good. And that's one of the bigger things is being able to maintain a consistent amount of good energy where you can go in and get those high quality workouts in that overall over time leads you to that success. I wish I could say, hey, you jump into this program and 2-3 weeks later you're going to look completely different, and you might if you already have a good base and you're dropping body fat. Now, if you want to have like crazy long-term results, you want results that are going to last, you got to have a good program. You got to have a good system in place that will sustain that even after a month's time. You can do a lot in a month's time, don't get me wrong. You really got to hammer it out, but it can be done. Now the question is, can you maintain that? And you see all these programs out there. You see all these gurus and Insta celebrities and whatnot, and they might be able to give you a program for the 4-week challenge or the 6-week challenge. You get the results, but then what happens? It's a lot like The Biggest Loser. Those guys and gals work out like crazy people, are on a very strict diet, and they make amazing transformations. Unfortunately, you look at them a year later, maybe not even a year, maybe 6 months, and they're not where they want to be. If anything, they've unfortunately relapsed. And research shows that if you have a really sharp drop in your calories and you're essentially doing what they're doing, you create what's called a metabolic gap, right? And so the body recognizes that, tries to adapt to it, brings down the metabolism, and then when you do reintroduce those calories, or you're not on a strict program, you're not having the entire nation watching you on TV, then boom, that gap is now going to turn back into body fat. And unfortunately, it's going to come on twice as fast. And when you do go and try and lose it again, it'll be twice as hard. And people, unfortunately, go through that cycle multiple times. So the first time it's going to be twice as hard, and it's going to have half of the results that it normally would. And the next time it's going to be, threefold, fourfold, 5. It just keeps compounding. So really, behind all this, you want to take care of the metabolism. Kind of getting beyond the scope of this video again, save it for another video, and more in depth on the website. What you really want to focus on is having something that is consistent that you can progress with. And so being able to say, okay, here I am at point A, I have a good amount of lean body mass. There's kind of multiple scenarios. I have a good amount of lean body mass. I want to continue with that. Keep doing what you're doing. Slowly increase your calories. Make sure you're getting enough protein. And if you feel like you start to kind of fluctuate, it's like, I kind of look a little soft the past 2-3 weeks, my progress photos, add in a HIIT cardio session, just a little bit, maybe twice a week. Knock out 15-20 minutes. If HIIT's not for you, knock out 30-40 minutes of like a stationary or a steady state cardio, 2-3 times a week, and go at that route. See how that progresses. Now, if you're somebody who's a little bit larger, again, kind of going back to more like that circuit training where you're still getting that stimulus on the muscle, and you're having a influence on increasing your mitochondria, having a greater caloric burn, and you want to be in just a slight calorie deficit. I mean, like, if you can figure out where your baseline is of like, okay, well, I'm maintaining my weight on 2,500 calories, then drop it down just like to 2,400. Let the exercise do the majority of the work, keep in those calories, keep in those nutrients to continue that progress. So maintaining, if not building muscle, while cutting the body fat. Now, what gets a little challenging is if you have low muscle and you have high body fat, which unfortunately nowadays is kind of more commonplace. I wasn't, when I first started out, after I had kind of done a couple of iterations of, getting to, going through football and doing natural bodybuilding, drug tested, I was like, okay, well, I just want to be lean. And so it kind of splits into more of that like strength training, part 1 of the day, and then circuit training, or maybe just a long session where you have strength training at the beginning, You know, sometimes I would do 20-30 minutes of that and then drop down into more of like a circuit training for the last half or so, or until I just pretty much ran out of energy. Like, not like tired, but I was like by the end of it, I was on the floor, guys. I kid you not, I was like, just like completely out. And so that's your other option if you want to go that route. If you're skinny and you have no muscle, eat a bunch. Eat a bunch, guys. Especially if this is more so if you're starting out and your body is just going to absorb that and make use of everything. Doesn't mean you go and just like eat pizzas all day and, you know, McDonald's or whatever. Doesn't mean you can't. The big thing is that you always want to strive for as many nutrients as you can. Unfortunately, as good as McDonald's tastes, I actually get an upset stomach now because I think my body's adjusted to more of the healthy food. And pizza, you can get healthy pizza out there. Pizza's not the devil. And so you can have those foods in there, but make sure you're getting those high nutrient dense foods, your vegetables, you're getting your good fats like your avocados, your fish oils, your macadamia nuts, and you're getting your good lean proteins, you know, not overly processed. You don't want to have bacon for every meal. You don't want to have, you know, hot dogs or something like that. Like, you want to get some good, you know, like if you can afford it, get some grass-fed beef, get some grass-finished beef if you can. I've never been able to find that. Maybe on like Butcher Box or something like that. Long story short, get the nutrients, guys. That's where it's at, because you don't build in the gym, you build after the gym. So make sure you get in there, you do the work, and then you get out and you start the recovery process. You get your sleep, you get your nutrients, you do your myofascial release, you make sure you're hydrated. Water is the most important nutrient that you can get. If you can go a month without food, maybe even longer, right? But 3 days after having no water or fluid in general, you're not doing too hot, right? So that goes to show you the importance of water. Make sure you're hydrated, guys. Shoot for like, you know, half your body weight in ounces at a bare bone minimum, and ideally you go more than that. I always try and shoot for, you know, 0.75, give or take, for water. So I hope this video has helped. Again, you know, I'll have more kind of like sections of this explained in more detail, and on the website I break it down, you know, crazy detailed, give you the outline for it. So check that out, davidtoddmiller.com. If you want to work one-on-one with me, check out wallstreettrainer.com. The first 2 weeks are free. So at the time of this video, which is the 1st of November 2019, training for the first 2 weeks is free. It's all online. That doesn't mean we don't work together. That means that I am able to see everything you do, not just when we show up for the gym. I give you a nutrition program, all that good stuff. All the details are on the website. So if you guys like this video, again, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe. Check out more videos, and let me know what you thought. You know, is this too long? Am I taking too many pauses? Is the lighting okay? You know, whatever. You know, what videos do you want to see next? Let me know that. That's probably the most important thing that you guys can really help me out with, because I want to help you. I want to give you valuable information. I want to give it to you in a concise manner as much as I can. Always learning, always striving to do better. And you know, what is going to help you out the most? What questions do you have? What problems can I, from you know, I've been working out since 20, man, I gotta think about this, 2006. I've been working out for like 15 years. So I've been working out for half my life, right? I have a degree in exercise science and certified with the American College of Sports Medicine, personal trained in New York City, in the financial district, in Chelsea, and again, online. So I have a lot of experience. I've worked with a lot of clients. What I want to know is what I can help you out with. So again, hope this helped. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are, day or night, rain or shine. You know, I'll catch you in the next video. This is Dave Miller, out.